All right.
Oh, wait.
What?
Wait.
Hold on one second.
Maybe not just yet.
Not just yet. Psych.
Ha! Gotcha.
1 second. We'll figuring it all out. 1 second.
Wait.
There we go.
There he is.
There he is.
Hey.
Is my mic on?
Yes. You're good.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I was on my other camera, the one that I looked actually pretty good on with the background. That was cutting my signal out for some reason. So I don't.
Oh, really?
Most of this is going to be like photos and video. So screw me. I think the videos and stuff will still look good.
Yeah.
Well,
Mitchel, thank you.
So.
You look good. And again, I love it. What's over your left shoulder? That's it's one of my faves. Little and Rex.
Right on. Hey man, I've been watching off and on when I can. This has been an amazing summit. Your guests have been blowing me away. It really makes me want to. You'll see a couple of like examples of me doing some sculpting, but not in ZBrush. ZBrush is definitely a game changer, which everybody knows, but it looks really, really amazing. I want to try it sometime. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And if I remember right, your wife is also actually an instructor for sculpting, right? At a local school.
She teaches sculpting and ceramics at Ventura College. But not the kind of sculpting.
Yeah, but that's fine. It's art, baby. It's art.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why I go ahead, Rodolfo.
No, I was just saying it's all the same foundation. Like if you know how to sculpt, you know how to sculpt, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Well, tell you what. I'll just throw this out there now, just for you. But between the three of us, just hit us up. We will help you out. Absolutely. I'll get
right on. I appreciate that.
Walk you through some stuff. No problem. Absolutely.
Very cool. I know I'd be in good hands with you guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's sweet of you. Well, let's you take it from here. So and then we'll chime in from time to time, but we'll let you go from here, and we'll be sharing your YouTube and Instagram, everyone, so you guys can follow them. Everybody follow. All right. So Mitchel, please take it away.
All right. Thanks again, everyone, for taking the time out of your Sunday to tune in to this fun, lighthearted chat. I appreciate your being here. So I'm Mitchel Wu, and I create and craft stories through toy photography. I capture the illusion of motion and motion where none exists, and most of my career has been spent working with the incredible 3D forms created by artists like you guys. So when Paul and the ZBrush team invited me to speak here today, it made me realize how much my career has been sculpture adjacent, meaning I was often working with a sculptor's 3D work in one way or another. And the first career being product design and development straight out of art school. I graduated from the California College of the Arts with a degree in illustration. And I was soon hired by a company called Willits Designs in Northern California to draw carousel horses and other things like clowns, animals, so on. And it was for the gift and collectibles market, stuff that would be sold eventually through Hallmark stores, gift shops, stuff like that. Those drawings that I did would then be sent to Taiwan, where they'd be traditionally sculpted in clay, molded, and produced in porcelain at the factory. This is how long ago that was, because it was going to Taiwan, which was considered a low labor cost country, which it is not now. After Willits, I was hired by Disney Consumer Products on the heels of the wildly successful Lion King. I managed the product design and development of Disney's high-end collectibles line. It was called the Walt Disney Classics Collection. They were basically frozen moments from Disney's most popular films translated into ceramic figures. And this was just several years, I don't know, 4 or 5 years before ZBrush made its debut, I think. So our figures were still sculpted in clay and other materials. I had the honor of working with the top animation sculptors of the day, as well as the top animators. I worked with a legendary sculptor named Kent Melton. He sculpted these figures, as well as many others for our line. He also was one of the main sculptors for Disney Animation's maquettes, the sculptures that the animators referred to when they were creating their drawings. And yeah, I have so many fond memories with this line. Disney moved us down from Northern California, and we've been in Southern California ever since. My role was essentially the same as when I was with that other company, Willits Designs. except at a much higher level of quality from start to finish. And this is what I mean by having a sculpture adjacent career. On rare occasions, there would be a tertiary character that was simple enough that I'd be able to design and sculpt it myself. This is Babette from 1991's Beauty and the Beast. I sculpted her in Super Sculpey, and honestly, I really lobbied hard to sculpt Babette because she didn't have any arms or legs to worry about. Yeah. And in between gigs, I did a lot of freelancing. I created the sculpture on the right here by having one of Cirque du Soleil's top performers of the time 3D scanned. I then had it 3D printed, refined by a sculptor, and then it went to Asia and was cast in pewter, which were then sold as limited editions through Cirque du Soleil's VIP galleries. And it was a super cool gig.
When was that? Wait, when was that? When did you do that one?
Oh man, that was probably 2002-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is where toy photography enters the scene. How'd this happen? In 2015, I had been a professional photographer for already 10 years. 7 or 8 of those years were spent shooting weddings. It was the only time in my adult working life that I didn't really have a sculpture adjacent career. My kid was entering high school in 2015, and she was a competitive club swimmer, and that's her closest to us next to the creature. By the way, the creature is about to kick some butt in that pool with his webbed hands and feet, not to mention ginormous gills. Anyways, I digress. The point is, I was missing a lot of her weekend activities because that's when 99.9% of the weddings happen. So because of this, 2015 was going to be my last year shooting weddings. I just had no idea what I was going to do after that. So around the same time, my nephew, Johnny, he asked me to go shoot some toys with him the next time I was up in San Francisco. I'd seen some of his toy photography on Facebook and honestly thought it was really bizarre, but also pretty intriguing. So the next time we went up to visit, it's August 2015, I bring my camera with me. I didn't have any toys, so he lent me some really cool samurai stormtroopers. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, you can check out Johnny's incredible toy photography on Instagram at Sergeant Bananas, SGT Bananas. Anyways, we go to a park close to Johnny's house, and I set the figures up in the crook of a large oak tree, thinking it might look like they were walking through some kind of like alien canyon. And this was the very first toy photo I took. And I knew from the second that I pressed the shutter that I'd found my next career. It wasn't like maybe, it was like being smacked in the head with a sledgehammer. So honestly, 10 years later, I still think this image holds up pretty well. But if I could go back in time, I'd probably remove all those oak leaves at their feet because they give the appearance that the stormtroopers are either extremely small, like toys, or that the leaves are gargantuan. So I like to say that I went from shooting Bridezilla to shooting Godzilla.
Yes.
I like that because I've actually done wedding photography, so I totally get that.
Yeah, and you know, I enjoyed it, but yeah, that was not meant for me forever. Toy photography is. So this is Vasquez Rocks, an otherworldly park, just about a half-hour drive from my house. It could pass as Tatooine in some areas. It's really cool. It's been used as a backdrop for so many television shows, movies, music videos, and commercials. Some things that were filmed there were Army of Darkness, Galaxy, Quest, Blazing Saddles. One of my favorite things that were filmed at Vasquez Rocks was the Star Trek episode, The Arena, where Captain Kirk fought the Gorn. And what really stood out to me as I rewatched this episode recently was how far fight choreography has come since then. And here's the town of Bedrock from the live action Flintstones movie. I love it. Just makes me feel like Hollywood is magic. Anyways, you could randomly throw a rock anywhere in this park, and wherever it landed, it would be a cool spot to shoot toys. And that's only a small exaggeration. So if you're familiar with Pablo Picasso, you probably know he had what's known as his blue period, where his paintings were painted in monochromatic shades of blue. Well, just like Picasso's blue period, I had my loitering period where I took photos of toys loitering in really cool settings, not really doing anything, but hanging out and looking cool. This pretty much all happened when I was at Vasquez Rocks. And so although I wasn't saying much to these images, I was learning techniques unique to toy photography and starting to develop a style. Loitering. Here's some predator loitering and Jawa loitering and more biker scout loitering. Very cool rock formations though. Okay, so now in the next couple slides, you can see that I was starting to play around with some practical effects like the hovering speeder bike here. And I feel like we're starting to see some semblance of stories just starting to form. It's an attempt to show more than characters loitering, and this is still at Vasquez Rocks. And more biker scout loitering. Hold on a second. Okay, and now we're pushing things a little further. So my loitering period lasted around a half year. And in that time, I continued to learn and develop my style. I look back really fondly at this period of my journey. And then it happened. This was taken in March 2016.
I'm sorry, I'm probably going to laugh a lot with your image because I just
That's cool. That's cool.
You bring me so much joy. I'm not kidding, man. Your images always make me smile.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I titled this image, Gravity Really Brings Me Down. And it was a milestone image for me, one where I was telling a story as well as creating some pretty cool practical effects to help support that story. I had the falling biker scout suspended with wire, and just out of the camera frame, I was throwing those small rocks and pebbles into the scene to kind of give the illusion that the unlucky trooper may have slipped on some loose rocks near the cliff's edge. This is another angle of that same setup. And here's just the camera setup. If you look closely, you can see the figures in the back. But yeah, this is still at Vasquez Rocks. Okay, this is August 2016, still shooting at Vasquez Rocks. This figure was actually part of a Lion King cake topper set, so they were basically fixed posed, iconic moments with no articulation. This image showed me the importance of how story can create impact with the viewer, or not, as the case may be. So the Lion King came out in 1994, more than 20 years before I created this image. There was no story or level of discovery here that people weren't already familiar with. I personally had seen The Lion King a dozen or more times when my daughter was growing up. So although this image was, it was fine, it was unremarkable and easily forgettable. So yeah, move along, nothing to see here. Then about 3 months later, I came up with this idea. And I'm not sure how I came up with it, but at some point, I realized that some figures, like some words, can have double meanings. So while this figure was meant to look like Rafiki was on Pride Rock, showing all the animals below, that this was their future king, it could also be seen as Rafiki offering Simba to someone or something. So I created this image with a rancor and titled it The Offering. And now while some people loved it, others couldn't bear to see what was about to happen to sweet baby Simba. But what was clear was that the image created impact with people that saw it, and many people, and made people feel something. And from that point, that would be the goal. Okay, I know some of you are looking at this image and are concerned about the welfare of these hot dogs. Well, let me assure you, hot dogs were definitely harmed during the making of this image. So this was my take on the meat locker scene in Rocky, which really made an impression on my teenage self when I saw it. I can't really tell you how I went from sides of beef hanging on meat hooks to hot dogs hanging on fishing hooks, but I did. And when I was shooting this, I had the theme song from Rocky playing on repeat, and super memorable shoot.
Just the one? What one? Wait, which one? Just the theme song?
Yeah, just the main theme song.
Just the theme song.
Gonna fly now. That one.
So how long did this one take then? Like how many times did you listen to that song then, do you think?
Definitely over an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was cranking. And yeah, and it's a day I won't forget because it was just so memorable. But yeah, and this one really did. I mean, it's so bizarre and out there. Once in a while, I really get to show my warped personality through my images. This one really made an impact with the community on Instagram. Okay, so this is the Iron Giant. I often like to think beyond the character's provided narrative. Like, okay, so I think you'd agree. There's no way the Iron Giant was walking around Rockwell, Maine, without this happening daily, right?
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, he was already running to the forest, didn't care about the trees or anything else. Like
exactly, and he was in town enough at least once or twice.
Eating garbage, throwing it around. Yeah.
So yeah, this is kind of my thought process. Okay, pretty much every toy photographer has or had a Black Series Darth Vader action figure from Hasbro at one time or another. And I probably have 3 like in my somewhere stored away right now. So when I got
unopened.
I know I have 1 unopened, but the other 2 have been opened.
Oh wow.
I'm really rough on toys. So when I got this really cool figure, I eventually asked the question, is Darth Vader really evil 24/7? Like, what happens when he gets off work? Does he continue to think evil thoughts and plan out who he's going to force choke tomorrow? Or does he head back to his cabin on the Death Star, kick off his boots, take off his helmet, and let down his hair? I mean, if his hair didn't burn off in burning hot lava when he was younger. And that thought process of imagining characters in ways that are different than the narrative were provided about them is how I came up with this next image. And this was done a long time ago. This was done a long time ago. And sometimes I think, you know, I could probably reshoot this and do a few things different, but in the end, it says everything I needed to. So anyways, I've learned that asking myself certain questions can often lead to some pretty fun stories, like this next example. Another amazing figure from Hasbro, the ruthless, coughing General Grievous. I actually struggled with this guy because my first instinct was to create a super dynamic, badass image of Grievous fighting with 4 lightsabers. I mean, I was so blown away the first time I saw him doing that. So cool. I probably should have shot that image because, and no exaggeration here, it took a long time before I figured out what to do with him. I had him sitting on my desk for over a year, waiting for some kind of inspiration. Until finally one day, I asked myself the simple question, what would I do if I had 4 arms? And that's how this next image came about. Yeah, maybe not as exciting as Grievous expertly swinging 4 lightsabers while fighting Obi-Wan, which I just watched that scene again yesterday, and it is really cool.
Your storytelling in one image is incredible, man. It's incredible. It is so good. I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. So waiting a year for me was worth the wait. Just a little note on the smoke from the barbecue. Let's see, that was created by lighting a small stick. It may have been a branch. It may have been like a shish kebab skewer. Lighting it, blowing it out, and just moving quickly the extinguished stick quickly over the barbecue, and that's how I got that smoke. And I just love keeping it simple.
Sorry, somebody was asking earlier how you made the speeders float. I'm assuming you're probably gonna be touching base on how you make things float later on.
Yeah, but I can just say it real quickly. When I first saw my nephew's toy photos, he was not too far into his toy photography journey either. And the first thing I saw on Facebook was this Ninja Turtle on a BMX bike soaring across a canyon or just in the air. And I just kept staring at it going, how did he do that? And so in my mind, I was imagining he was like, he had a little jump ramp or something, and he was launching this toy up in the air and taking 100 photos until he got lucky and taking it and catching it. But in reality, what he did and what I do is simply suspend whatever it is that's supposed to be jumping or floating or falling, suspend it with wire, and then you just remove the wire later in post.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So peek behind the curtains.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just trying to show characters in new ways and maybe in unexpected situations. Although I could totally see this happening to C-3PO. And a little Monsters Inc. Star Wars mashup. And this is something you don't see every day, right? Or ever.
No.
That's Jabba's, okay, in my story, that's Jabba's Aunt Roz. And you can probably get what she's saying is, I'm watching you, Jabba. Always watching. I mean,
so good. You're right. That's so good.
They really look like they could be from the same species, right? And
yes,
when I realized that, then this image wasn't far behind. But when I first picked up, I forget which one I picked up. I'm going, wait a second, and then I got the other one, and then I'm going, holy crap. Okay. This was one of them in the thing that on our promos, but exactly the claw, and this was reinterpreting the claw in a different, more literal fashion. And so whenever I see this image, I think of it as an adorable nightmare.
Love it. Love that.
Thanks. This image was created for Disney for the release of Toy Story 4. I consider the Milk Splash the third character in this image because it holds as much weight and importance to the story as Forky and Duke Kaboom do. And this is a good example of how I try to leave as little to chance as possible in my setups. The characters are propped up with wire at the exact angle I wanted them. Even the cookies are propped up to give the illusion of being bounced around the table as a result of the action that's going on around them. The one thing that's less controllable, obviously, is the milk splash. But having created so many liquid splashes over the years, I'm really starting to get a pretty good feel for how the liquid will react to certain actions.
So it is actually milk, right? You're not doing.
Yeah, that's actually a heavier cream, which maybe you can tell or can't tell, but it seemed to move a little slower, and that was not on purpose. It's just something that we happen to have in the refrigerator, and I used it. But really creates dynamic splashes. So cream is probably a good thing to go with for this kind of thing. So yeah, I would do a large number of takes to ensure I get the splashes, and then the entirely unarguably worst part of the whole shoot is the cleanup process after the shoot is going. It's intense. There's so much milk all over the place. It's ridiculous. Okay, little Iron Giant Toy Story mashup, and this image happens to have my favorite title caption of all time. Okay, step on it, they both said. Get it?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I'm with you.
People, that was so good. All right, let's start looking at some fun behind the scenes videos. So whoever's manning the videos, can you play video 1, please? All right. This image was created in my backyard in front of our old chicken coop. I really appreciate my understanding neighbors who really have no idea when to expect what's coming from my backyard. Loud explosions happen all the time. All right, please play the second video. Yeah, small little comment on fireworks. They're really hard to get in California. So these are actually considered safe and sane fireworks, but literally the only time you can get them is the week leading up to 4th of July at some of the stands, if you have any around. So the last time, probably 2 4th of Julys ago, I bought years worth of those crackling balls. So
someone just said, "You're basically being Sid."
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a really good
He's
comment.
basically Sid in real life.
Yeah, I have a really cool T-shirt. I should have wore it, but it's got a picture of Sid, and he's got some toys ripped up, and it just says Sid's Workshop on it. So I identify with Sid for sure. Okay, this is a recent image inspired by the question, "What if?" As in, what if Marty McFly dialed in the wrong year in his DeLorean time machine and found himself in a Cretaceous period some 100 million years ago? I would watch that movie, but I'd probably wait to stream it. I shot this in the toy pond, and that's spelled TOI, like koi. So it's a toy pond. It's a waterfall, stream, and pond that I had put in my backyard several months ago, primarily for toy photography. So it's a lot of fun to shoot in there.
So let's get it. You built your own pond in your backyard.
I didn't build it. I had somebody else build it.
You had someone build it. But you literally have a pond just to make your photos like this in your backyard.
Yes, and there's going to be a few videos with it in it, so you'll get a pretty feel for what it is, but it's a game changer. All right, play video 3, please. Right on.
I love it.
I love your music change too. You're like going completely different with every video.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that actually, because music takes
Yeah.
so long to figure out the right tunes to put in these things. But you can see in the final image how
Yeah.
you saw me dripping with the gravy,
Mhm.
what that thing is, the bulb thing, and you can see it coming down off his jaws right now. So
Yeah,
a little splashing at the feet, just trying to convey some action to it to add to the story. Yeah.
So how long are these usually taking you now? Like how long does this one take you? Because you're setting up in water, you're doing are they still taking you like an hour or you're
Oh no. Yeah, it really depends on the setup, how many toys are involved. This one, I mean, I would say it took an afternoon or a morning. I forget when I shot it, but it was a good 4 hours maybe. I have a YouTube video about the entire process, and do I have it? Yeah, I think I do. Anyways, it's a big part of it was like finding the right spot to shoot along. Even in my backyard, it took a while just to find the location to shoot it at. So it probably took the better part of a day actually.
Nice.
All right, now let's take a look at some super cool ZBrush files. I've been in an amazing creative collaboration with Boss Fight Studio now for 3 years. This is a toy company that was formed by several ex-Hasbro creatives who are first and foremost fans of the properties they create and license. And that really comes through loud and clear when you see the toys they make. I really wanted to include Boss Fight in this talk since having a career that is sculpture adjacent, it's really driven home when seeing my images next to their ZBrush files. Huge shout out to the amazing, talented sculptors, Tony Tellerigo and Fred Axon, for bringing to life the characters you're about to see and for inspiring the work that I create. So first up, Red Sonja, legendary sword and sorcery character created by writer Rob Thomas and artist Barry Windsor Smith for Marvel Comics in 1973. She could also be seen at times fighting alongside Conan the Barbarian in both comics and film. And I love how Boss Fight brought Sonja into 3D form. Her accessories, the additional faceplate, the articulation just inspire storytelling and play. So let's take a look at how I shot this scene. Play video 4, please. Yeah, so this was actually the very first image I shot in the toy pond, and Sonja was a dream to work with. The faceplate expression was perfect for the situation, and her insane articulation like easily let me nail the pose I was after. All right, moving on. I grew up watching Popeye cartoons, and like many kids, I ate spinach thinking it would give me the superpowers it gave Popeye. Having seen what Popeye does while on spinach, I'm convinced he's more powerful than Superman and the Hulk combined. Unfortunately, I think the spinach industry was behind this brainwashing. But anyways, conspiracy theories aside, when I saw that Boss Fight Studio, which was a company I wasn't even familiar with at the time, when I saw they were coming out with a line of classic Popeye figures, I made it my life's goal to collaborate with them. In my opinion, there's never been a better collection of Popeye figures made. So here's some of Boss Fight's ZBrush files of Sweepy, which is Popeye's rambunctious, daredevilish little kid. Again, love the different expressions and moods available with the two faceplates. And everyone's favorite damsel in distress, Olive Oil. They absolutely nailed these characters. So this scene here, it's a screenshot from an episode called The Jeep, and it's what inspired the next image. Let's check out how I put this together first. Video 5, please. Yeah, so much fun. The beautiful brownstone house that you see, the diorama, it was built by the talented Jordan Afonso, and he goes as Euler's Workshop in Instagram. But yeah, I love this image.
There was a couple quick questions about just actually speaking of this, the hardware you're using. Like someone was asking what camera you use, and for you for lighting, are you usually just using the sunlight, or are you setting up any studio lights?
Okay, I'll start with the camera. I use a Canon R6, which is a mirrorless camera, and lenses depend on the distance that I'm going to be shooting at. Usually in my studio, it's a smaller distance because it's a small space. So it could be a 24-70 or a 50 millimeter, even a 35 millimeter. But when I'm shooting outside, and especially if I'm blowing off fireworks or making a mess with splashing water, I'll throw on a longer lens just to keep my camera back a little further from the chaos that's happening on set. And so I often shoot with a 135 millimeter f2 for some of those shots, or sometimes I'll go down to like an 85 millimeter. And then lighting. In the studio, I'm always using lighting. Sometimes colored LEDs, sometimes just white lights, LED panels. When I'm outside, I could use, I think we'll see some of them in some of these videos. I'll use lights to create some rim lighting around the characters or some fill light. But that shot that I just did of the dinosaur with the DeLorean, that was all natural light. So it really depends. If I can keep it simple, I will. Sometimes I like to, fancy it up with some colored lights. So it really depends on the environment and my mood. All right, ZBrush files of the Phantom. And a little trivia. So the Phantom is credited with being the first superhero to wear a costume. Did you guys know that?
No, I didn't know that. Really?
I heard that, yeah.
You heard that, yeah. So I mean, we're so used to costumed superheroes at this point, but that must have been like a huge audacious move at the time. I mean, purple tights, right?
Yeah. Mitchell, do you remember the movie The Phantom? Because that's when I heard it.
I think Billy Zane.
Yep,
yes.
Billy Zane.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember he was in it. Yeah,
that's when I heard that, because I went to a convention when that movie was being released as a kid with my parents, and it was just wild. So
I don't think a lot of people remember that movie, so you're okay there. It's just, this is the greatest one of them all.
It was fantastic.
Guys, look, I'd like to point out Boss Fight Studio actually does Fraggle Rock, since it's been a theme at our summit this weekend. There you go.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So even though he had purple tights, when I was a kid, I actually had a model kit of the Phantom. It was by a model company called Revell, and they're actually still making models today. And just for fun, I found this online, and this was it.
Yeah.
It blows my mind sometimes when you can go back a gazillion years and find stuff that you had as a kid. So this was the packaging for the exact model kit I had with the Phantom and the Voodoo Witch Doctor. Anyway, let's check out the behind the scenes for this next image. It's video 6, please. Yeah, so this is the Phantom and his trusty steed, Hero. And one of the incredible things about toy photography is the ability to create so much out of so little. So as you just saw in that video, I set this scene up on a 4-inch wide railing on my porch. The dirt and debris being kicked up under Hero was just me throwing handfuls of dirt into the scene. All of those years of throwing dirt at my older brothers and my friends when I was a kid has really paid off.
It's coming. You know the angles to do.
Exactly. Okay, again, the range of properties I have the privilege of working on with Boss Fight Studio is insane. And the common denominator is the amazing sculpting being done in ZBrush by Tony and Fred. Their ability to work their magic across such varied properties, like it might be skeletons one day and strawberry shortcake the next, is nothing short of jaw-dropping. So let's check out some of their ZBrush files for this property. This is strawberry shortcake. And personally, I never had any strawberry shortcake toys as a kid.
I didn't, but I had some in my house because I had an older sister. So
yeah, I mean, but when I saw what Boss Fight was doing with them, I couldn't wait to get my hands on them. And this is her pal Huckleberry Pie. Love all the accessories, which for me leads to more storytelling opportunities. All right, cool.
Do you get with them early when they go, hey, Mitchell, we're going to start doing this one? Do you get with them that early, or it's just, hey, Mitchell, we finished this line. Do you want some of them so you can do some photography?
Yeah, it's kind of both. It's kind of both, actually. Yeah.
Awesome.
And they're fantastic to work with. They're really like what I would consider a dream client, because especially with their proprietary lines, because I don't have to really like submit a concept or anything. I just come up with something, I submit it, and we're good to go. Different with stuff like strawberry shortcake or any of the other licensed properties. Those I have to put together a concept and get them approved, then create the image, which then gets approved again. Kind of typical, but it's all been super easy and super chill and a great time working with these guys. Right on. Let's play video 7, please. Yeah, I titled this one Skipping Stones, and this is one of the rare instances where I didn't use actual water in the setup. The weather wasn't conducive to shooting outside, so I ended up setting this one up in my studio. And it was fun because I never really tried using like just basic plastic wrap over some colored poster paper to create water. And so, when you look at the image, it's pretty believable. Okay, next up is Z for Zorro. So the next ZBrush files and image are from the 1981 movie Zorro, the Gay Blade. And these are the files for Don Diego Vega, aka Zorro, and his flamboyant twin brother, Bunny Wigglesworth. Both characters were hilarious, played by George Hamilton. So the setup in BTS for this is pretty fun. Let's check it out on video 8. Yeah, so I shot this one in my backyard. And when you just watch the BTS, you could again see how everything was planned out with as much little as possible left to chance. Like the reins of his horse propped up in that position, Bunny's hat, midair, even the flow of Bunny's cape, all very intentional. And I think that was a good example of how I use wire to suspend things, because that setup was filled with wires. And that setup actually took quite a while. Okay, moving on. And back to Popeye. So this is the sea hag, one of the villains in Popeye. And Bernard, the sea hag's vulture and partner in crime. Do you think the animator had an in-law or a relative he didn't like, so named him Bernard?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Inspiration comes from real life all the time. So
it does. Yes.
Because I really wouldn't have been the first choice for me as a name for a vulture, but
No.
Yeah. Anyways, such amazing character designs, and they were really captured beautifully in ZBrush. Play video 9, please. So fun. Anyways, so yes. I shoot a lot of my water scenes in the toy pond now, obviously, but for the last 10 years, I shot all of my water scenes either on my stone patio, like I did for this image, or in a mud puddle I'd make like in a dead spot on my lawn.
What a great idea, though, just pouring a bunch of water first like that and then throwing the water. What awesome idea.
Yeah, and I don't remember when I figured that out. There was a lot of, experimentation through this whole process, but that was a good one. That was a good one. Okay, love these 1/18 scale, 4-inch tall skeletons. Even at their really small scale, the jaws can open and close, and their articulation is next level. Here's another behind the scenes from the toy pond. So please play video 10. Yeah, so I shot this I shot this in the middle of summer when it was scorching hot. And I think it was
that
just
why there's skeletons? Because there's
they're a little dehydrated. Yeah, I think it was just wishful thinking on my part. Like, I wish I could be these guys just floating down a river with friends while enjoying like a nice frosty beverage. These are ZBrush files for Kit Walker, one of the disguises the Phantom used, and part of Boss Fight's King's Comic Superheroes minifigures collection. They're roughly 3 inches tall, fixed posed, not articulated. And this is Diana Palmer, the Phantom's wife. Super cool sculpture. All right, check out this fun BTS video 11, please. Yeah, I had a lot of fun creating this one.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun. And again, to stress how simple it could be, I just used some leftover scraps of foam to create the alley, a couple colored little LED lights, and then my mini smoke machine. And yeah, it was fun. And some more fixed posed figures from Boss Fight's Sunday Morning Comics collection, which really brought me back, way back to the days of, searching the Sunday newspaper for the comic section, which were always in glorious color for one day of the week only. And Hagar the Horrible was definitely a must read every Sunday morning. I love how Boss Fight captured this iconic, heroic pose of Hagar, clearly following a hard-won battle, and Eddie. And here's what I created with them. Play video 12, please. Yeah, epic moment with Hagar raising a sword in victory, and Eddie. Okay, this was another image created on my stone patio, and I learned long ago, to your point, Paul, that I could create pretty much any type of body of water on my patio, depending on how I set up the environment and treat the water. It could be an angry sea, a calm lake, river rapids, whatever. And that's the magic of toy photography. And literally, the water that I pour onto my patio just to set the scene, it can't be more than like a 16th of an inch deep. So it's pretty crazy what you can do. It's kind of like Hollywood stuff, really. It's interesting. All right, this is Javik Mosa from Boss Fight's proprietary line called Saurozoic Warriors. Super fun sculptures with incredible detail and accessories. It's a wildly creative collection of dinosaur warriors that escaped Earth to another dimension before the asteroids destroyed their advanced civilization on Earth, which is not the narrative we've been told. And a board game will be coming out soon, which is super exciting. I can't wait to create some images with the game pieces. Great articulation.
Wow.
Yeah, the 10-year-old me really loves the separate scuba mask accessory. Like, this guy would have had so much bathtub time if he was around when I was a kid. But that's okay, because Javik still gets to do some pretty cool stuff with me around. Take a look, video 13, please. Yeah, I created this image while at some tide pools at Point Lobos Marine Natural Reserve along the Central California coast. It's just south of Monterey. And people, the sea was angry that day, my friends. So I was always on my toes while setting up and shooting.
Did you find a golf ball? Did you find a golf ball?
It was
For
a ton
everybody that doesn't know what we're laughing about, it's a Seinfeld thing.
I know. I was hoping somebody would understand. I knew something.
Yeah. Oh, I understand completely.
Oh yeah.
It's not often that I have an element of danger when shooting toys, but the waves were insane that day.
That's a big tub. That's a
big tub. And also, now that I have the toy pond in my backyard, this guy will soon be featured in some cool underwater toy photography. I mean, he
Oh,
has
nice.
he has a scuba mask, so I've got to do it right. And I've just figured out how to do some stuff underwater, so that's next.
Oh, that's awesome! I can't wait to see
It's
those.
gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. All right, these next figures are from Boss Fight's Epic Hack Skeletons collection. They're 6-inch, 1/12 scale skeletons with next level costumes and accessories. Really amazing sculptures. They are 100% built for storytelling and play. Play video 14, please.
Just see those sleigh bells jingling, ring, tingle, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride.
Come on.
As you saw.
I love it. All right.
I hope I didn't trigger anybody with the Christmas song because I get triggered.
I love it. I love it.
I used flour to create the snow and then blasted it with compressed air to push the illusion that the coffin sleigh was barreling through the snow. Just the side note: the coffin and the food and drink accessories are from another scrappy little accessory and prop company called Super Action Stuff. Boss Fight acquired the license a couple years ago to produce 4-inch, 1/18 scale figures of characters from Sideshow Collectibles' Court of the Dead. And it's an original dark fantasy universe centered around a rebellion between heaven and hell. Sideshow offers stunning 12-inch, 1/6 scale figures. I mean, they're amazing, of these characters, as well as art books and board games. This is the character Galavarbe, one of a number of characters that Boss Fight licensed. Insane detail and articulation. Super fun figures to play and work with, which is exactly what I did here. Please play video 15. Yeah, as you just saw, I set this up and shot it in my backyard with some practical water effects to mimic the turbulent ocean. And what you don't see in that picture is just me off to the side with a watering can, basically, and just splashing water out of it to create those splashes. Sometimes if I need rougher water, I'll use a small bucket. It really depends. Anyways, love the result.
Awesome.
Many of my memories of Popeye center around several themes, like Popeye saving olive oil from Bluto, Wimpy's love of hamburgers, stuff happening at construction sites, train tracks, shipwrecks. I'll actually circle back to the construction site later, but not long ago, I learned about an actual shipwreck just off the central coast of California. It was near a small beach town called Cayucos. And this photo was taken at high tide in it's an old fishing trawler that ran aground in 2017. The captain couldn't afford to have it towed out, so he just abandoned it where it still sits today. The Coast Guard surprisingly, the Coast Guard doesn't remove ships that run aground like this, but they did remove all of its fuel and other toxic fluids. Anyways, this shipwreck was something right out of a Popeye cartoon. So I waited like 3 or 4 months for a really low tide that wasn't too early or too late in the day because I still needed light to shoot in. But before I get to the image I shot, here are the ZBrush files for Popeye and Bluto. I mean, they really nailed Popeye. And they nailed Bluto as well. And I wish you guys had this Bluto because he is super substantial. He's like really huge and super duper heavy. All right. Let's check out this BTS on this video 16, please. Yeah, this one was really about the journey as much as anything else and the experience. Yeah. But I'll admit, the setup of the shot was super challenging. First, because I'd never been to this spot until this scene. Basically, I went the day before and got that shot of it like at high tide. So first I had to go out and find the right rock to set up on, and it had to be the right height and position to see the shipwreck, because that shipwreck was really the third character in this scene. Second, I was not expecting there to be so much seaweed, or as I started calling it, sea spinach. It pretty much covered the entire reef. It made walking around challenging, not to mention setting the toys up. But man, what an adventurous day of toy photography.
I have a question that I actually also wanted to ask you. Like,
Yeah.
do you have any environments that you haven't shot, like that you want to try? Like, is there anything like particular? Like, is there a scene that you would really want to try and you haven't? Maybe.
I can't think of any offhand. I mean, this one here had been on my radar for quite a while.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, my wife and I went to Europe during the spring, and we were there for a few weeks, and I took a bunch of toys and my camera and went around, shot at castles, shot at all these different places around different countries. So that was really cool. And that took care of a lot of my wanting to travel and take photos. Basically, I had this line called Destination Toy Photography, and that was part of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure if one day I'll say, I want to take a photo inside of a volcano or something like that. That may happen. I mean, but right now it's like I kind of take it like if there's a project like with a client that that would require something different, I'm all up for that, because that's what keeps things exciting for me. But yeah, so this was an adventurous day. Shout out to my wife, Rachel, who always accompanies me when I take my toy photography on the road. She was my behind the scenes videographer on this shoot. So, and she's been that camera person on so many others too. So yeah, this was fun. I mentioned the construction site earlier. One of the most ingrained memories of Popeye for sure involves some kind of shenanigans playing out on an I-beam high above the ground. This screenshot is from an episode called Building Blockheads, and there was another one called Skyscraper Capers, and those definitely inspired me to create the next image. Okay, let's check out the BTS video 17, please.
Yes.
Oh man, awesome.
There's another amazing music choice, by the way, too.
Thanks. Yeah. So the Neanderthal I built the I-beam that Popeye and Bluto are fighting on out of some old Home Depot paint stirring ruler stick thingies that I had laying around, if you're familiar with those.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I say Neanderthal because this would have been so rad just to print out on, do a ZBrush thing and print it out and done, But anyways, the city buildings were 3D printed by a little company called iPop Designs, and they have a shop on eBay if anyone wants to check them out. And besides Popeye, Olive Oil, Bluto, and Sweet Pea, the other character that really made a strong impression on me as a kid was Wimpy with his insane appetite for hamburgers. The next image was clearly inspired by that love for hamburgers. Here's the ZBrush files of Wimpy and his accessories. Check out that meat grinder. It's next level.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Please play video 18. All right.
Another good music choice. I saw Ian dancing in there.
Heads up, I think I'm going to be able to wrap this up in like four minutes. Okay. So once in a while, I'll do some really simple sculpting for a prop, either using foam or Sculpey. I mean, be honest. Tell me if you've ever seen better sculpts of ketchup drips than what I did.
No.
I mean,
I was trying to figure out what you were going to do. This is awesome.
This, although, again, would have actually been super cool and faster doing ZBrush. And I think you could actually print those out in red plastic, right?
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
So that would that would have been the way to do it.
But I think what you did was probably better, actually.
Thank you. Thank you.
Honestly.
Yeah, it's done, and it's in my memory, and it's part of the process. All right, finally, one more image using these little skellies again. Sometimes it's hard to explain the genesis of an image or where it came from or how I came up with an idea. But for the next image, it pretty much comes down to bones. And I start thinking about bones, and somehow I get to the part where calcium is good for strong bones. So here's a quick BTS. Play video 19, please. Yes.
You need strong bones.
I need a moment.
And believe me when I say I wish I could have wrangled up a sponsorship deal with Costco Kirkland for this.
I was just going to ask you, was this a Costco thing? That was good. That's funny, but yeah.
And just to finish up here, wow, I think this guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a question. I've kind of noticed you get a lot of things in camera, but how much like post-production or compositing do you do after the initial shot?
Yeah, so for a shot like this guy right here, yeah, this was all in camera. But if you go back to things where there's wire, obviously I have to take off the wire. And then when there's something like a huge milk splash or something that's splashing, sometimes I won't be completely satisfied with one splash, so I might take some parts of other splashes and composite them in. That's kind of the extent of it.
Nice.
All right. I want to close by saying you guys, the creators that are watching, are really inspirers and enablers. You inspire us with your work and enable us to play and tell stories and create. I encourage you to see your digital sculpts not as final models or an end result, but as characters waiting for their stories to be told through imagination, play, and creativity. And in my case, through storytelling and creative toy photography. I can't do what I do without what you do. So thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. Yeah.
That was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You're inspiring people. The chat has been blowing up your whole thing. Like the go. People are things are been going on.
Right on.
That's awesome. They want to know, they do want to know, how many toys do you think you now have in your collection? Do you know?
I don't know, but I do know that it's already taken over this studio here, as well as the guest room next door, and then part of my daughter's former bedroom because she moved away, and then a garage full as well. So there's a lot.
And then the last one, somebody wanted to know, do you accept commissions, and can they send their models to you to be photographed?
Yeah, I would love that. I mean, there's some obviously there's amazing things being done by this community. And for me, it's fun is like finding the story and then taking some rad images. So yeah, I mean, hit me up. There's my info right there. So
yeah, I've been putting it in the chat. So guys, I'll put it again, the links, and I've been putting your nephew's, Johnny's, in the chat as well. So you guys should check that out too.
Yeah, his work is extremely cool. Cool.
Putting his Instagram, his YouTube, Hugh's Instagram, Mitchell's Instagram, his YouTube, and his website. And we'll put Johnny's Instagram in there as well. I'm a big fan of this world that you're in. I love it. And I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your Sunday to do this with us. My face hurts from laughing so much. I'll be honest with you.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. And I appreciate you reaching out to me when you did weeks or a month ago. I mean, I wasn't quite sure what to make of it at first, but you know, when I dug around a little more, and obviously I was familiar with ZBrush, but it just made more and more sense as I started to look at it more. And absolutely no regrets. I'm glad we did it.
I love it.
No,
So
it's super creative. It's super inspiring. And then too, it's just another way for anyone to take a look at something beyond, like you said, the traditional, I sculpted a model, now I'm done with it. We still have to like create a render. We still have to put it in our portfolio and showcase it as best we can. So this was a really fun way to like see what you're doing with the physical aspects of it, but how that could be interpreted with the digital aspects.
Right. We've seen people in the chat saying that this is a nice way for them to start thinking outside the box to present their models, like 3D printing like we have some people interested clearly in 3D printing, collectibles, and toys.
Yep.
This would be a nice way to actually present your models and present them in a way that's like the physical model, meaning that you actually like to as a segue to the last presentation from Hasbro, how to present your models, understanding joints and all of that.
Right.
You have articulations, you print them, you make them actually workable and posable, and then you use photography to actually showcase them, which is awesome.
Yeah, and then, you know, I have the gear, obviously, because I was shooting well before toy photography, but there are some amazing toy photographers who use their cell phones, and cell phones have gotten so advanced that this doesn't have to be a bank-breaking endeavor for somebody to get into. It's basically you need your phone, or if you have a camera, that's fine too. You need your phone, you need your toys, and you just need a little set, and you can deal. You don't need lights really. I mean, you have lights on a cell phone or a flashlight. But when I first started, all those loitering photos and whatnot, they were just done with natural light, ambient light. And even, like I said, even the dinosaur with the DeLorean, that was just done with natural light. So you don't have to get crazy with stuff. Just start doing it and tell some stories.
Wait, one last question before we let you go. Do you sell prints of your photos?
Yeah, I mean, if people reach out, I send them to a link. But yeah, I mean, if people are interested.
I'm in.
Right on.
I'm not gonna lie, Mitchell. I tried to get my daughter. Go, hey, let's do something. I'm like, dude, you gotta go. Like, come here. Look what this guy's doing. Let's do it together. Let's have some fun with your toys. I couldn't get her quite into it, but that's like, you made me feel like a kid again every time I look at your work.
You know what? You got to get your daughter to try it, because there's the kids see it and then they see how it's done and they see that it's not super technical. It doesn't have to be. It just has.
And your daughter's done stuff with you too, right?
She's you know, she was already in her teens when I started doing this. So, and she helped me. I think she helped me do some fog spray one time. It was for Marvel 616 that was on Netflix. She helped me do that, but otherwise she's happy for me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So everyone, Mitchell was in a special episode on Marvel, right? They did an episode about him. That's how awesome it is to have Mitchell here with us. Literally, Marvel's like, hey, we want to do you as a documentary. So
yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
That's awesome. Congratulations to you for that too.
Yeah, thank you.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
Again, thank you so much. I don't know, Rodolfo and Ian. I'm good to go. I'm having a great day, man. This is fantastic.
Well, I'm glad you made it back for my thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
Oh no, I was making sure I wasn't going to miss this one. That's for sure. I didn't want to miss any of them really, but I was still tied up with all the sculpt off stuff. So make the first couple, unfortunately.
No. Again, Mitchell, this has been amazing. So thank you for sharing your journey. I'm inspired actually to try to think of how I want to create more dioramas in ZBrush, because that's actually an area in which I'm trying to play with more now. And so this is giving me some really fun ideas. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was really an eye opener, and seeing a lot of this this presentation for actual models. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. That was a blast. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mitchell. Really appreciate
it. All right,
you.
Take care. I'll be in touch.
Have a great Sunday.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.